amazing. How are you doing? Welcome to Chat Hour. And it is so good to have Elijah Nimat right here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, Nimat.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So today we're talking about independent women in marriage. You heard it's almost like a lot of people still frown at this, or some people have problems with this. And I would say this because, take for instance, look at the Funke, Akindele and JJC Skills, separation story. A lot of people came out to start saying that, oh, when a woman has everything, that is how they behave. Once a man moves into a woman's house, that is what you should expect. Don't take food from a woman without paying her, because you know what, she's going to do something to you in the long run. And I keep wondering, why is this? I thought that things have changed entirely. I think that we have gotten used to women working, women and still being married. And you still find some people say that you can't have it all. And I'm wondering, why is it that you cannot have it all? I think you can have it all. Some people are balancing it well. Nima, what is your thoughts?
Okay, so this thing called marriage has a lot of dynamics to it. But the thing called empowerment is a totally separate matter. And a person's personality, when tested on an empowerment level or in marriage, can be different. I hope you are getting it. I've said 3 things.
Okay.
Now, my personality can be basically called Funke, an alpha male.
Okay.
Female, alpha female.
Female, yeah.
And people's personality are different. So if I see my personality and I'm coming into marriage aware of my personality, I know what I will need to do, depending on how much that relationship means to me. And I was saying this morning to a friend that, in love, it has to come with some vulnerabilities. We cannot be in love with all the walls. You have to have some place where your other person can come in. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be an independent, whole, fully formed person.
Okay.
What it means is that to that person, it's okay to, we all guard ourselves. But for me, like in my marriage, to my husband, okay, for a woman like me who covers, to my husband, from my head to my toe, my nakedness is okay.
Okay.
So imagine that my inner nakedness, in my heart, I'm holding back something. Do you understand? And in that marriage, you must be able to, in that situation or that relationship, you must be able to live without the fear that vulnerability shared constantly is dangerous. So that's how I see marriage. But that you're a successful woman, those are separate issues. Those are the additional accessories that you bring in. So I'm a working class woman. I earn a certain amount, maybe not up to my husband, like in my marriage.
Okay.
Or in Funke's case, they're equal.
Okay.
Or in some cases, the man earns even lesser than the woman. Whatever you're bringing are additional. Who you are as a person is what makes a marriage. If you are not a humble person, and you're getting married, and humility is an important ingredient in marriage, your marriage will fail. So maybe when you're coming in, that's why some people say discover yourself. I married at 26, but before I got in, I knew the areas of myself I don't want to find publicly discussed. I knew because I had sisters, I had siblings, where the areas of myself that were already giving me problem relating with other people, I needed to improve upon. So when you get married, what I would not take is that somebody now uses that, because you see that in marriages where a man will now say, hey, don't you think you're a bit arrogant because you're celebrating your wins? That you should load the lantern, lower your light or something, dim your light or kind of
yes, or play small.
Or play small. Yeah. A man who takes pride in saying, that's my wife. That successful MD of the bank, that successful pilot, the woman that flew that plane, that's my wife. The one who allows you enjoy your wins, so that because that gives you the confidence. But some people make you the shame, a lot of people talk about shaming women into silence and all of that. So that's what I see when I see the noise around Funke Akindele. So what I think happened in that marriage is that the two personalities didn't find themselves well, and they're not ready to share their vulnerabilities enough. Because when you share your vulnerability, the two of you are a team. Like me and you now, we share things that once we share it ends there. it doesn't get shared to a third party. It remains strictly between our just friends. Imagine that we're now in a marriage and we share things. If, for instance, I have a family because I'm close to my family, and my husband shares things that are personal, and then I think it's okay to have a discussion with my sisters about it. I'm just sharing that person's vulnerability.
That's
it just
right.
might not, if he
right.
hears it, just might not be comfortable.
That's
with
right.
it.
That's right.
Same goes for me. I might just be shocked to hear, what did you tell your
So you,
sisters
yes.
about me? Because those are our personal privacies. And once that team is built, marriages will sustain, but marriages will not just be rosy. What it means is that over stormy waters, over hard times and all of that, you people will sail through and land together because the goal is the same. So for me, I love both parties in that marriage.
Yeah.
And I love their successes.
Yes, yes.
Me,
in fact, I was shocked.
I don't know Funke. I don't know Olu Funke. I know Funke Akindele, the Jennifer. You know,
Okay,
I know the success story.
Yeah.
So I would hate that somebody says shut up on that success story.
Yeah, that's right.
I know JJC, the JJC skills.
Yes.
I don't know their personal lives. So I would hate that somebody says, what did he had nothing. Why will you belittle what he had?
Yes, yes.
This guy on his own, before he married Funke, was already a big sensation in the UK. Before he met Funke, years before. Mm-hmm. We know that he was behind the brain demand. He started
right.
all of them.
419 squad.
419 squad.
Yes,
he might have
right.
stayed back when the Nigeria Afro hip hop market was starting, and then he came into the market late. But he came in and he had, he informed the beginning of some people.
Yeah.
So don't belittle whatever successes he had. What I will not take is to say, because a woman, see, all of us are women, and it's until we tell you how many times we bail our husbands. We know women who for years carry the home. Until they tell you, you will not know it. And so because they didn't tell you, or the man, we know some women are being taken advantage of, but they don't mind. They think that's the love I want. That's the person who I want to be with. It's okay. See, in this life, the truth is somebody must take from you. All that you make is not for you alone. If it's not your child at a time, it be your spouse, it be your siblings. So you will choose.
So you have to compromise, reach some compromise at some time.
If I make $1 million, if I make, let's just say $1 million as an example, not just my children, my neighbors. Because I will not walk past my neighbors in need, and I have the means to change. I'm not judging anybody.
Yeah.
It's my personality. And turn and go.
That's
just
right.
doesn't make me sleep easy. So that person that is taking from me can be defrauding. Some people make up stories. They create it.
Yeah.
Sometimes now, because based on experience, I have the balance to look at it twice and say, okay, I really, really think. And or I'm careful now to watch out for a repetitive need of a particular person. But before you're in need, I can help you. If it is an advice, I can give you. So it's not just about you and yourself. Whatever successes you make, those are your accessories, the additional accessories. But your personality is what you bring into a marriage, and your personality is the most important thing. So it is wrong when they say people have to pretend to be in marriages. That is what you would need to sustain a marriage. To mojukuro.
Yeah.
It's your personality that will assist you to say, okay, this is what I can overlook. This I can let. This I cannot let. And so the things that you cannot take, based on your personalities, you will have the conversation about. Of course, again, based on who you are.
So, you're saying that this thing is about personality first of all. Let us know our temperament and how to deal with our temperament. All right, so Nima,
your deal breakers. Your deal breaker might be something your spouse is
okay with.
Okay with.
Yes, that's right.
Some men are givers.
Yeah.
They have, let me just give, and you're a saver, and you're having issues with your husband always giving. It might just cross the limit. Maybe you're thinking, okay, well, he has not spent 10 million. It's okay. And then one day he just carry 10 million to a family house. And my entire savings, and that breaks you. Yeah. But because these are conversations, and these are conversations that you have not really had, and he doesn't know how much of it breaks you. Finally, you must, but in your
communication is key.
Communication, you just express something that deeply hurts you. It depends on how the other party to react. If it's remorseful and you're, but if it's something you can't take, we can't be judged. You can't be judged for it. So you must have that conversation, and the home must work. When you are ready for a home, you start a home. If you're still two individual personalities, you can say, okay, this home cannot work. But once you bring in children, please do much more. than say the home cannot work.
Fantastic.
It has to be mutual.
Fantastic. All right, now let's talk about independent women being their own problems. Do you think that independent women are their own problems at the end of the day?
Let me clear this. Being an independent, successful woman is not a problem. Let's not ever see it as that. You might be in that position and be unemotionally intelligent. You might be or emotionally unintelligent. Let me put it correctly now. So there are certain things that because of your wisdom on certain situations, you know how to handle. But that your success, everybody's dream in this life is to be a success. I don't know anybody, or I think the person is abnormal, who thinks that I don't want to be a success, so let me just exist. Being successful is something everybody should aspire to. Have your own means. It's not okay to be at anybody's receiving end. It doesn't mean that you must be the CEO. You might be a successful staff in your company, an asset to any company that, you know, when you are leaving, it will be a problem to replace. To aspire to be at the top of anything is okay, and it's not a problem. But there's always something that affects a lot everything, and that is your emotional intelligence, your ability to deal with situations, your wisdom. People locally will say wise, you know, be wise, you know, the way to deal. And so even in marriages, everybody is strategic. A winner woman, an independent woman knows that in this marriage is strategy. In your company is strategy, is wisdom. In everything you do, relating with people require you to be, you know, at a particular spot. I can have a temper and you would never have seen it. Do you understand? Because I know I'm temperamental. That's the truth. I know how whenever I'm in public, this is not a way to start. This is not my standard of appearance. It is a defense mechanism. It comes as last resort, not my first reaction. So when I see this thing is continuing and you're taking me, okay. You know, I put up that as a last resort defense for you to please don't try, don't manipulate me. So you know then who you are dealing with. But a lot of people have this and they don't know how to box them, how to compartmentalize them, and so people then use it and say, no, it's the money that is getting to our head, it's the kinikon. If somebody is doing something
so if that person did not even have money in the first place, that is still how that person would have behaved.
Yes, so the person still needs to work on themselves and improve themselves. But money in itself, or having money, is not necessarily success. If I worked hard to get a first class in school and yet the thing never turned to money, I am still successful. I did a hard thing. I committed to something, and the results cannot be a cause of shaming me.
Yeah.
No, if the goal was to get it and I worked hard at getting it, you can't shame me and say, no, that's now a bad thing.
All right.
If I feel the need to remind you of my success before you can pay me attention, it's your fault.
Let's talk about this, because this is the question I have been asking and I don't know whether I've gotten an answer to it. Yes, you know, there are so many answers, but you're like, but why are things like this? It is the 21st century, as you have said, and things have really, really changed. It is not the way it used to be, as I said earlier. So, you know, in the past, we would say that our marriages used to last now. Why is it that these days, any little thing, people are already on their way, different ways out of the, you know, relationship or marriage. People not get married. In fact, these days, when people do introduction, you know, before, when we hear that somebody has done introduction, you say, in fact, my grandmother is a Muslim, and my grandmother said that introduction to them, you have introduced, you have gone to you are married. But these days, that somebody has proposed to somebody does not automatically mean that that thing is going to end in marriage, or it is going to lead to marriage, or at the end of the day that they have gotten married does not mean that in 2 weeks they won't be separated. What is the meaning of this, for crying out loud? It is so saddening. It's so pathetic. It is unbecoming.
I see it. I cannot be wise and treat my own self. That's the way I see it. People now think that no, there are different circumstances in marriages where you are being open. So if you find a deceptive person has set you up, don't be further shamed or deceived or, you know, or cornered or conquered in your spirit to think it's better to just continue hiding in this marriage so that people don't laugh. They will laugh. Either they laugh by finding out that you're pretending yourself, or they laugh the eventuality that you're suffering from it because you're deceiving yourself. So what I will not do is cheat my own self. I hope you understand me. But when you're in marriage, oh my God, this thing called love. When you've found someone, nobody is perfect. Someone trying in themselves to improve themselves enough for you to love them. You water the grass so it will be green.
So there is a constant work.
Constant work. I have left certain things that I love doing for the sake of my, and there are certain things that have been begging me since I married to drop, like chewing gum that I have not stopped. Sure, you understand? My husband would turn his eye and say, okay, I'm not coming home today, and he shows up suddenly at night. When I'm opening the gate, I'm chewing, because I thought you were not coming home. So, you know, so there are certain things he has learned to live with. When I'm upset and sad, the person that says, I don't like the way you chew gum, come, I bought you a gift, it's gone.
Wow.
And so people are like that. When you're finally found that person, like that makes an 80, in fact 80 is a long, yes, okay, let me just say 70, because people are not perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
But you love that person. That person, I always say to my husband, I cannot be ashamed to tell you sorry. This matter, this fight is not helping me. When I'm fighting some fight with my husband and the headache will not go, and I'm the one
so you just go and say, I'm tired,
I say,
please, I'm so sorry.
Let's
just end this
sorry.
already.
Oh yeah, sorry. And say, you. And then sometimes we'll call my kids and say, okay, Bobby wants me to kneel down. All of us, let's kneel down. And you know, because we're two vulnerable people. Nobody's perfect here. And nobody's going to laugh that the other day. You see that we're not babies. Two mature people in marriage, there's no shame. If I offend my husband, I come in, I apologize, and it's not enough. Did I hurt you that deeply? I'm sincerely, honestly sorry. I do that in my marriage, and I will not come and pretend it to people around. There are certain times in my marriage that I think, this thing, I will not take it on a normal day. But this thing makes this person happy. There are certain friendships he has, or relationships that he has, even with family members, uncles, this, that I don't want to have. I'll be like, okay, just for his wholesomeness, for his happiness. And then you find out later that you're benefiting from that relationship yourself. But we don't give these things room, we don't test them. No, you know, and you're pointing fingers, you're saying never, never, never. Allah says in the Quran, you know, I don't usually do this, but I live by the Quran.
Okay.
Allah says, you might hate something that God has put your goodness in. And all the time, I always use that principle to give a thing a second eye. Anything at all, a second eye. Calm down, Nima, look this thing well. I'll just give it some time. And I always, Honeypot, I can tell you, hey, for free, I always benefit from those things. There are some outings I'll be like, you can go. I'm not interested. Those people didn't show up for my own. I'm not doing that relation. Like, hey, this thing, they told me why now. You see that woman, that your friend's wife, I just cannot stand, you know. And eventually, I'm closest to that person's wife eventually, because people's personality, if you give it room, just might be what you need.
Interesting.
You know, so give it room.
So now people now talk about, you know, the age of information. This is what it is, you know. The world is now social inclined. So everything, technology, everything is here. And people say that it is because people have a lot of information, that is why they are misbehaving. And then again, you find people, somebody told me once that, you know, some people even have what they want, you know, already in their head. So they say that maybe a lady says that her friend got married and she had a very, very nice wedding. It was a destination wedding and all of those things. She wants the same thing. So she does not mind. She would, you know, start a relationship with someone that she thinks can give her that type of you know, wedding, and then she has everything, and at the end of the day she already has a plan B that if it does not work, she leaves. Or it can be vice versa, like even the man too can already have it at the back of his mind that, you know what, if it's not working, I am leaving. because I really just don't understand. I get very sad. I am not married. Sometimes I'm even, because of all these separations and divorce and all that, I'm scared. Sometimes I'm like, because I want to love someone. I want the person to love me back in return. I don't believe in divorce, and I want to live the rest of my life with that person. I don't pala pala. I don't want in my life.
There's nothing that prepares you, really. So I would say that you live with somebody, you find someone you love, the person loves you, is something I call grace. So I'm enjoying it. But you see, the second plan thing, so it's for the people that are not yet in love or maturedly in love. Early in my marriage, the first 2 years of my marriage, when I got married first year, I used to say to myself, I have 3 options. I have a phone a friend. I have the...
it's like who wants to be a millionaire?
I use that one. I used to say 50-50, phone a friend or walk away. And by my 3rd year, as in my toughest year in my marriage, because my 3rd year, then by the 4th year, because I had my child at the 4th year, was my toughest. That was when those options didn't show. I wasn't, but whenever I walked away, my husband would come back and say, I'm not walking away from you.
Wow.
I'm not walking away from you. Somebody who has turned down my 9 divorce requests is somebody that I will pay that attention to.
So
he had clarity.
You wanted to divorce like 9 times?
I asked to divorce 9 times.
Nima, why?
As in, before my 8th year in marriage, I had asked for 9 divorces.
Why?
I said, I'm not cut out for this. I'm going to go home. I just want to go home. And I'll come, my father will be like, hey, put it properly now. So this my put it properly thing is the support system. I rode on the shoulders of my love. My marriage, the love was on my husband's. We rode on my husband's love for the first 3 years. His commitment, and he didn't read any book. Me, I'm reading all the books now. And all that he was doing then, they are making sense. My husband would wake up in the morning and take time to hug you and reassure you of love. And it wasn't my own malice is, I'm not going to talk. I'm never going to say. Those are childish things. And I'm guilty. I was guilty of that a lot.
Wow.
And so when I got to that point when my father would be like, put it in compartment. What did he do? Is it him? Is it something that happened? Is it somebody else? And every time I'll be like, it's true. But what you call, is it do me? Really didn't do me anything. Somebody helps me to put it in clarity. So imagine that I took those decisions without help. I will find out much older person that I was rash. I was,
if you had left, you would not look back.
And you had said go now.
Wow.
Or most times when I left, I wouldn't, because usually most times when I left, I didn't clearly pack everything so I would know. I'll just drop maybe my ring, or I'll just go and I'll be like,
so you did all this?
It's 2 weeks, so are you not going to come back? I'll be like, or my parents will say, I don't know why she's here. Can you? Or he will then call and say, we just had a small fight. She's trying to say something, and I didn't allow her because I thought it was not relevant. And then when they come, both of you sit and talk, and then we talk. So later, my husband just stopped after the 4th year. Auntie, I'm not in. Can we talk? We'll sit down. And then maybe when I'm now expressing it, when you're thinking it, it makes a different sense. When you're expressing it, and if you're a reasonable person, when you're dropping, you'll be like, this one overreaction. I'll be like, let's just let it go. Say, no. Say everything that you felt at the time is valid. So we'll talk about it. And then there are some that the fight was, let me say it. I'll be like, no, we're not having this conversation. You're overreacting. And when you do that, when he does that, I flare up like, why do you invalidate my emotions? I felt those emotions at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so it's not all the time that we had the conversations, but some before we even have the conversations, I let go. So eventually I found my own system. I found my friends who were my closest ally, a psychologist, a friend of mine that is a psychologist that I can go and drop the weight of my thoughts to. I will say, auntie, by the time I'm done dropping, sometimes she doesn't even analyze.
Wow.
Wura doesn't even bother.
Wow.
When I'm done dropping, I'm the one advising myself. So women, we need to find ways to make it work. But there are certain situations you'll be in. Whatever you think at that time is valid. I don't support staying in a marriage when you're emotionally abused.
Yeah.
When you're domestically, physically abused.
I totally agree with that.
When you have separated the abuse from what you yourself might be abusive of.
Yeah.
So I am an alpha female. I am somebody, when you tell me something, there's a reply. So me, so I know myself. So when I know that I have used my mouth to dig mud and splash on somebody,
Yeah.
and you too judge yourself.
Yes.
So you don't go around. Women do this where you go around and you start to tell people, I know that man, after all I've done for you, you don't say what you did.
Yeah.
So you
which is not right.
self-analyze and be fair.
All right.
You know, so
how do we now conclude? Like, how do you tell people that marriages should work if it does not have all those domestic violence, emotional violence, or emotional abuse on all of those things? Like, what would be your conclusion?
So I would say to you, don't be unfair to yourself. Don't be unfair to your present self and your future self. I have what I call complex thinking. A lot of things have happened, even where I work, that I thought, let's get out. Don't do that. But I look at my future self and say, I hope I won't regret certain things. So I process things. I take my time. I give some things time.
Yeah.
And when you look back in retrospect, it was the best decision. So process it. Assure your present self, your future self that you are doing the right thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Nima, for coming on Chat Hour again. We love you all the time. Thank you indeed. All right. Thank you guys for watching. What do you think about this particular episode? Would really like to have your thoughts in the comment section. Be sure to put your comments right there. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And if you consider this video a good one, why don't you just smash the like button already? Thank you so much for always. Till we come your way again, or I come your way again, let the conversation continue. Thank you, Nima.
Thank you for always having me.
Thank you.
See you next time.